Hi folks, it's been a week since the last video. I've been doing a few things, but we're back down the unit. We're going to give Jimmy a hand. Let's see you in a minute. Well folks, been a little bit busy over the last week or so. Jimmy's had his 21st birthday party, and to top it all, that was the weekend. We've also had some news back from Rainbows for our charity collection, which we did. We've done two of them. We've done one via Facebook, and we also done one via the GoFundMe page, and we was lucky enough to be able to raise about £900, just over £900 in total in the two accounts. The thing with the Facebook pages is that we don't get to see none of that money. That money gets directly passed on to Rainbows. But the one for GoFundMe, we raised just over £500 in there, and I took £500 out last week, give that to Gary and Stacey, and they went out and they brought loads of sensory equipment for Rainbows Hospice, who are of course looking after my granddaughter at the moment now. They've been doing so for the past month and a half. Gary and Stacey's been living there as well as their other children as well, and as you can see there, there's a lovely picture there of some of the gear which they've actually presented with the money that we've collected for the Rainbows Hospice. Anyway, that's that. So we're back down the unit now at the moment, and I'm just going to give Jimmy a hand with the Citroen over there. I want to sand the roof down, get that completely sanded down. Lee's car, as you know, is gone and awaiting for the paint to go hard, and then Jimmy's going to cut that back. And Jimmy's got another few cars coming in and out all the time, as you probably know. He's done them over the last week or so, but this one has just come in. This is a little Triumph Spitfire now. Let's just have a show you around this. So as you can see, it's the bodywork's all been done on it apparently. It's been done by a local company who have literally just moved in with Jimmy in the other unit just over the road there. But as you can see, all the bodywork is actually done inside it. There's no rust on this at all now, and the colours, it's obviously been resprayed, but it's had a very, very poor paint job on it, and there was plenty of orange peel, and I don't know if you can see. They've had to do some repairs on the back there, as you can see. This was a welded panel which they've actually put in themselves, and basically the whole paintwork needs to be flattened off, and then obviously resprayed. I think it's going brown again, Jimmy, isn't it? Yeah. So it's going to be going in the original British Leyland brown apparently, so that's another little project which Jimmy's working on at the moment. And as you can see, everything, even the subframe's all been done as well, so it's in nice condition, and it should look nice when it's actually done. As you know, we've also got this Citroen to give a quick blow over to. Jimmy wants to sand the roof right the way down. There's a few lumps and bubbles. Is there bubbles in it, Jimmy?
All of these, rust everywhere.
Yeah, there's rust all over the roof, so it means taking it right back. Lucky enough, when we done the Trans Am had about 10 coats of paint on it. This has only got one sort of 1, 2, 3. It might have been blown over before. I think it looks like it's been sprayed before. Let's have a little look. Let's have a quick look. So as you can see here, that's the bare metal of the roof. We've got the original primer. We've got another white there. Then we've got another white there and another white on the top. So it may have had one paint. I don't think they put 4 coats on from the factory there. I'm not sure. Eh? Yeah, so the first one will probably be X primer. Then you've got your normal bodywork primer, and then you may have 2 coats of top coat there. So it's just got to sort of sand all this down and get this right back to basics, so to speak. And the stuff around the doors is been sanded and filled. Now with this one, the chap didn't want to go too mad and spend a lot of money on it this time, so all he's basically asked for is basically a blowover, and he didn't even want the whole car painted, did he, Jimmy? So you know, you've got to cater for what the customer wants at the end of the day. So bottom line is that only do the work where it's necessary, and also he's going to be having this resprayed and stripped right back sometime in the future, because it is quite a rare car, but he just wants to go out and use it this year. So he's just going to get a lot of to tidy up sort of things. It's obviously been standing about for quite a long time, and it's in need of full restoration really. But anyway, that's that. So I'm going to put you on time lapse now. I'm going to start doing some sanding on this roof, and let's hope we can get that cleared out in no time. I'll see you in a minute. as you can probably see, it does take quite a bit of time. I'm not using the proper tool here at the moment, I'm just using a sort of a normal orbital sander. Jimmy's outside sanding down the Scimitar, he's got the DA, which is really what you want to do with something like this. But as you can probably see, let me show you closely. With this sort of job, all this sort of stuff is actually under the paint, as you can probably see there, look. So this is stuff that, the only way to get to this is to sand everything right the way off. And in most cases, some people aren't prepared to spend the money to have you to pay to have this sort of done. In this case, there's a hell of a lot of it on this roof here. And things like the guttering and stuff like that, which we've also got to sand down as well. These are the things that take the time. As you can see, if you work your way around the front here, you can actually see the sort of state of the guttering, and all that's got to be done. 9 times out of 10, this is going to be very time consuming work, and that's why resprays cost so much money. Now ideally, to do this job properly would be a total sort of strip the windows out, take the all the door furniture off and stuff like that. And the chap obviously doesn't want to do that in this case, because he doesn't want the expense of a whole full restoration. So as long as you've made the person aware that, you know, the work that you're doing, you can only guarantee that the paint surface, as opposed to the stuff that's under the paint, you've got no idea what's underneath the paint. So we've uncovered loads of bits of rust here which was actually under the paint, and in time that would come through. So that's part and parcel of knowing where to draw the line when you're doing a sort of restoration like this, or remedial work, should I say. This isn't really a restoration, it's a remedial work just to get the bloke through the summer. Anyway, I'm going to carry on now, got lots more to do, and I'll see you a little bit later on. Oh, there you go. Well, I'm back to using the DA now. Jimmy's doing a bit of work, as you know, on the Scimitar, and he's letting me use this for a bit now. I'm just letting the compressor cool down for a little bit. It's been going for about an hour now, so yeah, it's getting there. A lot better with that. As I say, we're using 80 grit on this, so it is taking it down a lot faster than that orbital sander. Anyway, just another thing I'd like to share with you is that I've got a Retrorestore.com website as well, where I'm also going to upload my videos there in the different categories and stuff like that. So you can go and have a look at some of my older stuff if you're interested in that. I'll have them all in categories. I'll try to sort of get them all in order. That's going to take a while for me to do that as well. And I want to try and get my merchandise going as well. I've got a couple of t-shirts on there. You've probably seen my Retro Restore t-shirt, which I wear quite a lot on this channel. And also the I Love to Rant t-shirt. I've put that on the website as well. And I'm trying to get some car stickers made as well. So just pop over there and have a look. I've got a t-shirt section. I've also got a stickers section, although there's no stickers there at the moment. But yeah, I'll ship them all over the world. It's not a problem at all. And yeah, hopefully this year I'm starting to build more merchandise up for you, and also ceramic mugs as well. And anyway, so I'm just going to carry on here now. You haven't really got to see no more of that, and I'll see you a little bit further down the line. See you in a minute. Right, also doing a bit of work stripping this Scimitar down, this Scimitar GTE, and one of the jobs which we're doing at the moment is to get the doors off. We've had to take the frames off for the window surrounds there, and there's 2 screws that hold it in at the back there. I think there's one in here that holds the frame, because the frame comes right the way down into the actual door itself. And there's also one here, if I remember rightly, at the bottom there. That one we had to drill out. These 2 we had to drill out as well, and also this one was a nut job, which we could get a 10mm nut onto undo and pull the actual frames out. So that's one thing you're going to come up against as well when dealing with old cars, is rusty fixings. Let me show you a couple here, for example. I'm at the stage now where I've had to cut 2 of the bottom hinge bolts off. The rest have undone, but I'll show you what I mean. Right, so here's the door, as you can probably see. That's the top hinge bar there. I've just left that top one on at the moment, but these bottom ones down here, totally rusty, and I've had to drill 2 of them off with the old Dremel tool. And all it's just a matter of now is just literally just undoing this top one, then we can pull the door out of the way. The cables come through here and go into the bottom of the door. One of them goes up for a connector into the electric mirror, and the other 2 cables, which you can see here, go right the way through the bottom of the door, right along here, and you can't gain access to them, and they actually feed a light there and also a light underneath the door, which you can't see. But you can't actually pull the cables out through the bottom of the door, because believe it or not, this cable here, as it runs in along the bottom of the door, as you can probably see, there's a little screw there, and that little screw holds a little clip, which holds a little clip inside the door, and you can't actually pull this out. So you've got to undo that screw there by holding the nut down at the back, and you can only get your hand down there if you take the window out. So it's all sort of knowing the actual model of car. and that's how you get these cables out that feed these two indicator lights in the back of the door. So hopefully I should be in a position now where if I just undo this top nut, let's get myself comfortable. This is where you really should have two people. Jimmy's just popped down the road for a second, but he left this on loose. So if I undo that nut there, and literally should be able to withdraw the door off the hinges. Oh, there we go. Happy days. Let's put this over it. Oh, one thing which I did forget to say is that we couldn't undo the socket. If I just show you this, the hole for this cable to come out of, it won't allow the socket to come through. So you've actually got to enlarge the hole here to get this square socket. In other words, you can't get a square peg through a round hole. So I'm just going to have to open this up anyway. There we go. There we go, out of there. Right, there we go, that's one off. And as I say, these are the sort of things where when you're pricing a job up, that you have to remember, if you're asked to strip the stuff down, you want to allow for this sort of stuff, because this is all extra time, and time equals your money at the end of the day. So you need to make the buyer aware that if they can strip the car down first of all, then and bring it into you, then they're going to save quite a bit, because all this will have to go down as extras. We spent about an hour trying to get this door off, and also probably going to have to do the same for the other side, although we now know what we're doing, so it's going to be a bit quicker. But all this gets written down as an extra, so just something to be aware of if you're going into just spraying cars. If you're going to do the work yourself, restoring them, this all costs time, and time is money. So there we go. We've now got access to this trim here, which is pot riveted on. You've got the silver trim going around the door as well. That's also pot riveted on as well, so that's got to be taken off and also riveted back on again. And as I say, this gives us now a nice clear edge to be able to paint up to once we take this internal rubber strip off as well. The actual door hinges will stay in situ. There's no need to disturb all this. And to be honest with you, once they're hanging like that, the doors actually aren't that heavy because they're fiberglass, as you know. So stripping them down is the way to go. And you probably can't see here, can you? This is the inside of the Scimitar GTE. There we go. Right, so just going to have a little bit of a clear up now around this area, and then we've got to spin the car around and get the other door off. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, that's that. Let's get that out of the way. All rusty fixings. Right. Okay. Onwards and upwards. See you in a minute. Right, as you can see we're getting there now, and what you'll find that underneath the paint it was covered with loads and loads of little spots of rust which were actually breaking through in the way of like bubbles on the surface, so that's why we had to take it right back to bare metal. And we have got an issue at the front where the windscreen is. Apparently it's had a new windscreen seal in, and because we've got to paint obviously the whole car, that involves lifting rubber seals up, and the problem we've got is that there's rust underneath the rubber seal. Let me show you. Where we just sanded a bit away, someone's actually been here before, because there's the bare metal, there's the rust, and underneath the rust you've got a layer of filler and then obviously paint on top, and the rust actually goes underneath the rubber seal. Now we can't just sand up to that and then leave all that, that's all bubbling all the way along there. So realistically the only way to deal with this is to give the owner a call, get him down here. Jimmy's already done this, he'll be coming down tonight, because all we've got to do is to take this actual windscreen out. It's obviously been out, as I say, because it's had a new rubber seal on it, so that just means taking the filler strip out and then lifting the windscreen out so that we can reveal this front edge and also down here as well. So that is, as I say, things that you do come up against as well when you're dealing with restorations. How far do you go? You've always got to go to what the owner is willing to pay for. This isn't a complete nut and bolt restoration. It is a make-do spray job until he's got the time and the money and the resources to actually strip everything down. He just wants to use the car anyway, so that's another thing we're coming up with. So I'll sand up to probably here. Apparently there's filler here as well. So I'm just going to sand up to that edge. The gentleman will come down tonight, have a look at it, and then we can then make a decision. If you remember, like with the Capri, when we took the Capri glass out, there was loads of welding that needed doing under the corner of the wing, so that was all additional work. So you know, you can't just plough on and start doing stuff without the owner knowing, because you've got to draw up a list of the work that you're told to do and the extra work that needs doing. There's always going to be extra work, especially when you're dealing with old cars and restorations. Anyway, I'm going to carry on. I'll see you a little bit later. Bye for now.